That's a good thing and a bad thing. Well, then you have no business watching a movie like that.
I'm just saying, some people don't know that going into it. The Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans are better, and you think Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans are better. I could see that.
Welcome back to our second podcast for CNJ Film Fellas, CNJ Productions. Today we are going to go in a completely different direction from our first podcast, which was favorite movies. Today we are talking about the best movies. These will be movies more seen from a critiquing standpoint, such as like directing, acting, the cinematography as a whole. They're not as sentimental, but they would be scored better in a review standpoint. They would be more like 9 or 10 out of 10s as far as film goes. Last time we started off with Jonathan. I think today we'll start with Clayton. Let him go first and start the discussion there. Woo! Clay Dog, it's off to you.
Thanks, Nick. And these are the top 10 best movies on Clayton's list. So here we go. Number 10 is Jaws.
Really? Jaws, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, didn't see that one coming.
Probably the main reason why it's on my list is because kind of its legacy.
Yeah, sure.
As far as, because it's pretty much the first movie of its kind.
Oh, it's the first modern summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
You know, it was the highest grossing movie at the time. It made our parents terrified to go in the bodies of water.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's something hard to do.
Especially your relatives being in California.
Yeah.
That might be a little
I'm sure
frightening.
most California people were probably just terrified to go in the water knowing there was a giant mechanical shark in the water. Okay, so number 9 is The Godfather.
Really?
Yes.
Man, it's interesting.
Told you.
Yeah.
You know my lists are just kind of broad and out there. But the main reason probably for The Godfather is kind of its legacy as well. But not mainly that. I mean, it is a good movie.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando.
Well, that's the movie that people know him for now.
Yeah. You know, you think Godfather, you think Marlon Brando.
Absolutely.
Or you think vice versa. Marlon Brando, you think Godfather.
Yeah.
And one of the most quotable things is that I'll make him an offer he can't refuse. That's like the most people, all kinds of people either make fun or quote that.
Well, see, what I like about that movie, it's good, but what I like about it the most is the fact that you really see Al Pacino become the person that he did not want. He just didn't want anything to do with the family business at first during the weddings, and he even says, "That's my father, that's my family, that's not me."
Yeah.
But then you slowly see him sort of become even more powerful than what his father was at the very end of the movie. And it just reinforces that idea with the sequel. You know, so it really is Michael's story.
It is. But I mean it's an overall good movie.
No, yeah, it's a classic.
It's a classic. So that's pretty much the main reason why. Because I think people should see it.
Yeah, no.
Out of all 10 of these movies, these are 10 movies that I would recommend, and that's the point of this countdown.
Yeah, like if you guys haven't seen Jaws or The Godfather, stop what you're doing right now and watch them.
Yeah,
I'm kind of embarrassed because I haven't seen either.
They're both 40 years old, so
yeah, they're both in their 40s.
Okay, moving on. Number 8 is starting to kind of throw some curveballs in here.
Okay.
Saving Private Ryan.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Because it is probably the greatest war movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Spielberg, you know why he won Best Director given the first 45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
You know,
because the violence in that movie is the main reason. Because everyone knows war is violent.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just, and a lot of these movies try to cut down on that, but Spielberg's just like, here it is.
He's like, yeah, war's not pretty. You know, that's honestly that's the closest I ever want to become to stepping on a battlefield is that D-Day invasion and Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Good pick. Very, very good pick.
I know, and the curveballs are still coming.
Was that a curveball for you? Was that something you didn't expect,
absolutely.
Jonathan?
Absolutely.
So
coming from Clayton, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like I said, mine are going to be out there. Okay, moving on to number 7, Shawshank Redemption.
Oh shit, Shawshank, huh?
Yep.
Wow. Like I said, I watched that movie the other day before I came into work, and that movie just, it gets better and better, and that's hard. That's something hard to accomplish, especially a movie that's in the 90s.
And that might be, the main reason it is on there, that might be one of the all-time great prison movies.
Oh, what do you mean might be? It is the all-time great.
That famous scene of him crawling out of the thing and taking his shirt off and just looking up, and it just pouring down rain.
Well, you know, and it really touched on the fact that, you know, I love that line whenever Morgan Freeman goes, you know, you're in here for life, and that's exactly what they take. It really showed the, you know, psychological damage that prison can have on a human being.
I think the line that pretty much sums up that movie is when Morgan Freeman's narrating when he's crawling out, and he says, Andy Dufresne, the only man to crawl through 300 yards of shit and come out smelling like a rose on the other end.
Yeah.
Because he literally crawled through shit to escape, and he come out clean as ever. Because too, you know, he had that made up life or whatever.
Sure.
And all that money from the warden went to his account, and so he just, and it's like I said, it's the greatest prison movie.
Yeah, by far.
That ever, you know.
Yeah, it's one of the best movies of the 90s.
Oh yeah.
You know.
And hence the reason it's on my best list.
Yeah.
So definitely one that should be watched. Okay, moving on to number 6. I think you'll like this one, Jonathan.
Okay.
There Will Be Blood.
Nice. Very nice. That's very good. That's
the one. I mean, the main. Like I said, the main reason most of these are on is because I think these are the top 10 movies everyone should see.
Yeah.
So that's my main focus on this list. But the reason it's on here is because the way. I mean, obviously, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, that's his best performance.
His best performance by far.
Think. Yeah.
It might be one of the best performances.
Absolutely.
Of anyone.
Yeah.
But just the way that the movie's so dark.
Yeah.
And just, it kind of reminds me of a No Country for Old Men type
here's the
feeling.
Thing. It's so dark, but there's no violence. It's just pure story, character, plot driven. But yeah, it's dark.
But Daniel Day-Lewis is insane.
Yeah, that just shows how crazy you can be if you have money.
Oh yeah, and he's just nuts.
Well,
and then you have a somewhat underrated Paul Dano.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say the supporting cast is good, but you know that was one of the movies where if that or No Country would have won, I would not have been mad if There Will Be Blood was the Best Picture winner. Because I watched There Will Be Blood first, and at the time I liked it more. Because I really like, I think Paul Thomas Anderson is a more talented director than the Coen brothers. That's just my opinion. And I love like the first 30 minutes. There's just no dialogue. It's just him working in that, that mine. Yeah. That's brilliant. That's fucking brilliant.
It is. It's good to where someone can act without saying anything.
Yeah.
And you know, and Daniel Day-Lewis is just born to be an actor.
Yeah. You're right.
He's just one of a kind. He's in a class all by himself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, moving on. Number 5. Number 5 is on my list simply because it's a classic. Okay. And if you've never seen it, then
you're just stating the importance of it, almost. Okay.
The Wizard of Oz.
Okay, and this is
number 5.
Number 5.
And I mean, it's just because most people probably have seen it, but it's just a classic, and it's also the first movie to ever be in color.
Yeah. You know, there's no denying the legacy of it.
Was just an epic moment in history to turn a movie into color.
Oh, I can't imagine seeing that movie for the very you probably got a lot of tears coming from the audience just because that's the very first. Just imagine seeing something like that for the very first time, color on screen.
And it's crazy too because the movie starts out black and white, so everybody's just thinking, "Oh, well, here goes another movie," and then all of a sudden, when she goes to Kansas, and she opens that door and it's all color.
Absolutely.
Back then, everybody was probably.
What was it? 1939 or
37.
37. Okay.
No, it is 39, and Gone with the Wind was 37, I think.
Okay.
But moving on to number 4, this one is a curveball.
Okay.
But
spill the beans.
But it's arguably one of the greatest movies of all time, The Lion King.
Oh, no question.
Oh shit.
That movie.
The greatest animated film of all time.
Yeah, that movie can pull at your heartstrings that some live action movies just simply can't. That's a good pick. Good pick.
And it just, because I think if that movie would have been, because nowadays they always have in the Best Picture nominees, there's always an animated film now.
Yeah.
Since like
or
2012 or something like that.
There's its own section.
Yeah.
You know.
Lion King could have easily been in there.
Yeah.
Back in its day.
Yeah. What year was that?
94.
94. Yeah. That's a good pick.
Because I mean, it could have been up there with Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump and all those movies that. I mean, it could have held its own. I'm not saying necessarily it would have won, but it could have held its own. Because I mean, it's just the ultimate, like you said, just like heartbreaking movie.
Yeah, that's the golden, for people our age. That's the golden era of Disney movies, of animated movies.
It's in my opinion the greatest Disney movie ever.
And like you guys talked about in the last podcast, you have your more nowadays you have your great villains, like you had Heath Ledger, and then you have Scar.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, Jeremy Irons as Scar kills it.
Oh yeah,
he's so chilling and so like kind of sleazy, you know.
Because he's so. It's like he kills his own brother, and then he comforts his nephew.
Yeah.
But he's completely soulless. He doesn't care.
Yeah, and he ends up he kills his brother, and he ends up becoming the king of the pride. Yeah.
But then he's like, oh, your dad was a hero and he was an accident and all this, and and tries to comfort his nephew, but it's like, I'm the one that killed him.
Well, what's so special to me about The Lion King is that it's been it's unfortunately considered a kid movie. Unfortunately, it is. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but talking about now brings a lot of memories.
So many memories.
A lot of good memories.
It's
nothing
20 years old now.
Nothing bad. I can think of nothing bad to say. That movie could possibly have aged. The best movie to have aged so far on your list could very well be The Lion King.
An animated film.
That famous scene where Rafiki holds Simba up on that rock. That's just
try not to get goosebumps.
I know,
every
right?
time. Like I said, I've seen that movie. It's been like 10 years. I've probably seen that movie 15 times, and I still get goosebumps to this day.
Try not to cry when Mufasa gets trampled by those wildebeest. Yeah.
And special shout out to Matthew Broderick as Simba.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's like that movie pulls at your heartstrings the whole time. You were right, Jonathan.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating in a way.
It is.
How about that on Blu-ray?
I need to. I want to.
It's amazing.
I'm sure it is.
Okay, moving on to number 3.
I almost don't want to move on from that. That's so good.
Let's keep talking about The Lion King.
So this is now a podcast about The Lion King. So
there will be a day when we have animated
or Disney movies.
Disney movies, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, number 3, No Country for Old Men.
Nice. Very nice.
That is my number 3. And the main reason is, stellar performances, first of all, and the way that the Coen brothers kind of do that, where you was talking about with There Will Be Blood, like no dialogue.
Yeah, very subtle moments. They can make tense, subtle moments.
Yeah, because there, where obviously the scene like we talked about with Javier Bardem, playing Anton Chigurh.
Yeah.
He is pretty much threatening the gas station attendant's life.
And he doesn't. Because the guy doesn't even know it. He doesn't even know what the hell's going on.
And it's probably the greatest scene in the movie.
Can I say something real quick? That was the No Country for Old Men was the 2008. It came out in 2007, so it was in the 2008 Oscars. That was the tightest year between There Will Be Blood and No Country. That's the tightest competition I've ever seen. Yep. And No Country won.
Neither one would have been acceptable.
Yeah, and that says how good it is that it beat out the tightest competition in the history, I think, of the last 20, 30 years of cinema.
Yeah.
Because it was really a toss-up. And it won.
Yeah.
It won.
Well deserved.
Yep.
Because like we said, it was on a race with There Will Be Blood, and There Will Be Blood is my number 6 on here.
Yeah.
So
good point.
If that tells you anything. Okay, moving on. Number two Jonathan.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight.
Okay.
Number
And that
two.
was number 1 on your favorites,
Yes,
right? Okay.
Number 2.
No, that's a good one. Obviously, what haven't we talked about?
Obviously, we've explained ourselves, and we will get more into the Dark Knight on our superhero podcast.
Just a rehash. It's the most popular movie on your list.
Oh yeah.
Safe to say it's the most popular.
Agreed.
The Dark Knight's brilliant. Enough said. Let's get to number 1.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, Heath Ledger's performance is just a given. If you haven't seen that movie, watch it. You'll understand why. Number 1 is Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
On Clayton's best.
Yeah.
Top 10.
You don't
movies.
sound as surprised,
Well,
Jonathan.
I'm not
because
I know he's a Tarantino fan, and it's like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you've just switched out the 2 and 1 from yesterday.
Yeah.
So and that's that. I mean, my review's kind of the same in a way, but so I knew where I was coming. I figured if it wasn't The Dark Knight, it was going to be a Tarantino movie.
And my main thing with it, that the reason for it being, I think, the best movie is because, like you said, it didn't win Best Picture at the Oscars, so it makes more people like it than Forrest Gump, which did beat it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Forrest Gump...
Because Forrest Gump has not aged well.
No, like I said, The Lion King's better than
Pulp
Forrest
Fiction
Gump.
has aged well.
Is that safe to say that The Lion King's better than Forrest Gump?
Yeah. So, it's like, I think Pulp Fiction has aged well.
Oh, yeah. It's
Forrest Gump,
good.
which beat it, has not.
No.
Forrest Gump was popular maybe for like till
Because
2000.
It was popular because Tom Hanks was the biggest movie star on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
At that time.
And he won back-to-back Oscars.
Yeah.
Philadelphia 1993 and then Forrest Gump 94.
Sure.
So obviously he was the biggest star at the time, but I just don't think that movie has aged as well.
But let's look at the more relevant calendar. What's being played more on TV? What's Blu-ray sell? What's making more money? Pulp Fiction or Forrest Gump? I bet it's Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah.
What sells more merchandise? Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction is on the Independent Film Channel all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Forrest Gump is on fucking TBS.
Yeah. And so let's
TBS is edited. IFC is not.
So okay, let's give a quick recap real quick before we get into mine. And these are the movies that Clayton just simply can't can't be missed.
Well, these are the 10 movies that must be seen, I guess, in your lifetime at some point. Number 10, Jaws. Number 9, The Godfather. Number 8, Saving Private Ryan. Number 7, The Shawshank Redemption. Number 6, There Will Be Blood. Number 5, The Wizard of Oz. Number 4, The Lion King. Perhaps maybe the best on the list almost.
Almost, yeah. The second most beloved movie on that list.
Number 3, No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Number 2, The Dark Knight. And number 1, Pulp Fiction. And I would like to also add that Lion King was my favorite on that list. Just because it I don't know, it just like
So in a way you're doing a special shout out to The Lion King
because it is an Oscar-worthy animated movie.
Yeah, I mean Disney.
The music by Elton John.
Yeah.
The voice acting, just the animation.
You know, I feel kind of sad that I never would have thought to put an animated movie. Can I go back, Nick, and change my my list? I want to. Thanks, Clayton. You're making me doubt my picks.
I do. I like that you added that the music in Lion King through the whole movie is just.
There's my top 10 list, and I hope y'all all go out and watch those movies because they are highly, highly recommended.
Highly recommended by Clay Dog. Now, that's the end. You have nothing more to say about yours right now, Clayton?
Nope. I guess we'll take it over to
all right,
Jonathan.
Well, Jonathan, your turn. Let's see what surprises, what kind of rabbits you pull out of the hat.
There's some surprises. First of all, very, very good list. Very good list. I'm shocked.
Thank you, sir.
Didn't think you had that in you. Mine's a little bit more contemporary, if I should say. There's a few from the 90s, obviously. And of course, these are the movies that you just simply can't be missed. I'll do a quick recap at the very end to sort of, remind people. Starting with number 10. Number 10, Mystic River.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you,
That is
sir.
an amazing movie.
Clint Eastwood's best movie.
Oh, by far.
Tim Robbins.
By far, no question. Clint Eastwood's best directed movie.
I think it's Tim. It's a toss-up between Shawshank. One day, if I wake up, I'll say Shawshank was Tim Robbins' best movie. Wake up another day, I'll say it's Mystic River. He kills it.
I'd like to add. I think the main reason why you could probably say Shawshank is number 1, Mystic River is number 2 of Tim Robbins' performance is because Mystic River, Tim Robbins supporting, Shawshank lead.
Sure.
I think that might be your main reason.
Which, because he is a supporting, I gotta give a shout to Sean Penn. He is a pit bull in that movie. He is just mean.
Not to be fucked with.
No.
What is something else, another motion picture that Sean Penn is in? Because I don't know.
Well, he's won an Academy Award for Milk. He has,
He won for Mystic River.
Yeah, he won for Mystic River. He's, he doesn't do a lot of kid movies. He did a movie with Susan Sarandon called Dead Men Walking, which is very good. He's up there. I'm trying to think of a movie.
You're saying I'm a kid?
No, I'm not saying you're a kid. I'm just saying.
He's in I Am Sam.
He's in I Am Sam.
The movie about with Dakota Fanning where he's plays a mentally impaired guy.
That's the main guy. That's
Yeah.
Sean Penn. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
if you've seen him, he's an actor. Number 9 is Pulp Fiction.
Nice.
Pulp Fiction. You know, I wanted to give it a shout out yesterday on my favorites, but Pulp Fiction was number 11. But so I had to say 9 because it's, you know, like what you said 2 times over. I think it's Tarantino's best movie. It's his ballsiest. It's him at his rawest.
Why would you say ballsiest?
Just because for the time that movie's 20 years old and it could be offensive, and it's just him saying, I don't care. I'm gonna split up 4 different stories and compare it and just drive it to one at the end of the day. The fact that he kills off a main character middle of the movie, and then you turn around and see what happens before he dies, but it's actually the end of the movie. You know what I'm talking about?
There's a very in the middle, very controversial scene.
Yeah.
In that movie.
Yeah.
That some people could find offensive.
It's one of
especially back in 1994.
Yeah, it's one of those where, you know, I first seen it, liked it, and then I bought it on a whim on Blu-ray like in 2007, fell in love with it. I was like, I can't believe this has not been in my collection for so long.
It's just a classic.
Yeah. Yeah, classic. Can't be missed. Number 8's kind of a weird one. Because this one I can almost relate to, but not in the way that you think. This movie is about obsession.
Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah,
number 7.
Obviously. No, number 8.
Number 8.
No, it's about being driven to something to where it can kill you or makes you very, very sick, and that's Black Swan with Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis.
Natalie.
Yeah. Directed by Darren Aronofsky. You know, if you think this movie is about ballet, you don't need to be watching this movie. Like I said, this is someone who is not so much a ballerina, it's about someone who is driven as an athlete, as just trying to be the very best that they can to where it's making them sick. That's all they think about. It's affecting their relationships, you know. And just the cinematography, the way that they dance, the way that it just zooms in on just all you see is like an ankle spiraled up in the air, spinning. Some of the best cinematography of the last 10 years.
That's good.
Yeah.
And Natalie is pretty easy on the eyes.
She is.
I personally haven't seen the Black Swan, but
I think it's right.
I will.
It's I don't want to appear too movie snobbish, because a lot of people go into the movie thinking that, but it's not really. It's only an hour and 50 minutes. You know, it's like I said, it's a movie about obsession.
It's a really short movie, an hour and 15 minutes.
No, 50.
Oh.
It's just about obsession. You know,
that's a short movie.
You know, Natalie Portman, that was probably the best woman performance of the last 10 years, I feel like, and I don't really care about...
And you are not nearly as big on female actresses.
Yeah, performance-wise. But no, she killed it, and it was so good because I was actually at my job, and one of my buddies went to go see it in theaters. He comes after seeing it, comes straight to my work and says, "What are you doing tomorrow? I gotta take you to see Black Swan." So good. We gotta do it. So we ended up seeing it, and I ended up seeing it like 2 more times in theaters. Yeah, and besides Darren Aronofsky is one of my favorite directors. Okay, that's number 8. Number 7, it's another one that introduced me to a director that I now love. He's one of my favorite directors, and it's one of those movies that really shined on to one of my personal favorite actors, and that's Capote, number 7.
Nice.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman kills it. You know,
rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in
Philip.
peace.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, if you know me, you know that Philip Seymour Hoffman is one of my favorite actors. And it was one of those years where he was going against Heath Ledger for Brokeback Mountain and Joaquin Phoenix for Walk the Line. But you weren't going to take that away from Phil. There's no way. He completely transforms himself. You know, and a very underrated Chris Cooper's in that movie.
Yeah.
You know, when's he ever not done a good, done a good performance? You know, and it introduced me to Bennett Miller, who's one of my favorite directors, who directed Moneyball and Foxcatcher, which that's a different story in itself. And it was one of those where I read In Cold Blood in high school. So when I seen that Philip Seymour Hoffman, who was one of my favorite actors, was playing the author who wrote it, I loved it. You know, and it's not about necessarily the clutter murders, because that's what it's about. It's about him investigating it. It's about him
writing that book.
Yeah, it's almost like what happens when the media takes control of something disastrous like a murder compared to the police story. Because in a way, Philip Seymour Hoffman may or may not have fabricated the story to sell books. You know, he made a profit off of a family's death by befriending one of the prisoners.
I have to give a big shout out. This is kind of a simple, like, I guess, thing I'm impressed with about Philip Seymour Hoffman, is he has such a deep voice.
Yeah.
And he completely changes the tempo of his voice.
So you've seen it?
High pitched, yes.
It's a good movie, isn't it?
To talk with a really, like,
Yeah.
just soft voice like this. And he has such a deep voice. And to carry that through a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Is insane.
You know, there's a line in the movie where he's telling his friend Catherine Keener, who's also kind of underrated, but he says, you know what, I think, you know, writing this book, starting to investigate this book was the worst thing that have ever happened to me, because that was the last book he was able to finish, because it took so much out of him, and you see it. And Philip Seymour Hoffman wears his heart on his chest. That's one of the best performances ever.
Very good pick, and again, rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah. Number 6. Number 6 is the one that I was the most shocked about on the list. On yours. And it's by who I think, he's not the best director, but he is the king of Hollywood. And that is Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan. Yeah.
Is that your first similarity?
That's our first agreed upon movie.
That's the first agreed upon movie.
And what did it rank on your list,
Yours
Clayton?
is number what?
Mine is number 6.
Mine's 8.
Yeah, his is number 8.
Close though.
Yeah.
Close.
Very, very close.
You know, it's just full of underrated actors like Barry Pepper as the sniper.
Oh.
Giovanni Ribisi as the medic. You know, you don't even have to talk about Tom Hanks.
Barry Piper in The Green Mile.
Yeah. You know, even a very young Matt Damon does a solid job. And like what we said, it revolutionized how war was portrayed in cinema, and it was probably the second best directed movie of the 90s.
Tom Hanks kills it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think you have to say, like, the major player in that movie is probably Spielberg.
Yeah. He's the star.
I mean, he just captures war 100%.
Yeah, and it's weird because that's one of the few times that the director won the Oscar, but didn't win the movie. Shakespeare in Love, a movie that no one even remembers anymore, beat out Saving Private Ryan. But you remember, you watched that D-Day scene, and you're like, oh man, that's why he's the richest director in Hollywood.
Yeah,
and
he just doesn't. Spielberg, a legend.
Yeah,
just a legend in filmmaking.
Yep. Number 5, it's another low-key movie, but you guys hear me kind of talk about it. It's by one of my personal favorites, and this is like I said, this is a best list. This is, like I said, cinematography, acting, directing, and that's number 5, The Master. Oh man, it's so good. It's about, in a way, the forming of Scientology, but it's through fictional characters and fictional stories. You know. It stars Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix.
Is Tom Cruise in it?
No. That'd be funny.
That would be funny.
But what really spoke this out for me was, you know, I liked Joaquin. I could appreciate his acting, but he took it up a notch.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's so funny because he even called the fact that he's not going to get, did he get nominated that year?
Yeah.
It's just he acknowledged the fact that the Academy boards are kind of prejudiced, and that was the year that DDL, Daniel Day-Lewis, was going to win. But if it wasn't for him, Joaquin was a close second. That scene where he's in jail with Phil, and he's just freaking out in the cell beside him, that's some of the best acting.
On an added note, all I have to say is when you're going up against Daniel Day-Lewis, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
That's all I've got to say about that.
Yeah.
But one thing I would like to add about The Master is when I watched it, you was talking about, oh my Lord, Joaquin Phoenix. I couldn't think of his name.
Yeah.
His performance in there is what kept me through that movie because the Scientology part of it and stuff is not that interesting to me.
No?
So his performance, I mean, is just, you know, taken up a level. And then when he meets Philip Seymour Hoffman and Philip Seymour Hoffman's performance in that movie is nuts. So the way they play off each other, they both keep rising each other up.
Yeah, and just look at that the audit scenes where he's doing the audit.
God.
That's some of the most tense.
Where he tells him not to blink.
Yeah.
And every time he blinks, he slaps him.
Or whenever he's asking him if he's ever had like an incestual, you know, relationship with anybody, and it's just very awkward and it's very uncomfortable to hear. Because you know it's
Philip Seymour Hoffman is just like focused right on. He's asking these questions, and every time he tells him, "Do not blink," and answer all my questions. And every time Joaquin Phoenix blinks, he just slaps him and tells him to start over.
Yeah, and you know,
it's insane.
This movie's quick to, you know, say that it's kind of a cult, and Joaquin Phoenix is a lost soul. Literally, he's on a dangerous path of alcohol.
He's psychotic.
Yeah, you know, very dangerous. You know, he was gonna overdose on something. So it just shows, that movie just shows that something that's good right now might not be so good in the long run, because it ends up the relationship ends up, you know.
But again, Philip Seymour Hoffman also kills it as like the cult leader.
Yeah, he has very, you know, bravado.
Oh, he is
confidence.
He just like commands the room when he walks into it on every scene.
By that time, that was Paul Thomas Anderson and Philip Seymour Hoffman's probably third or fourth movie, so they kind of knew.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Paul Thomas Anderson directed There Will Be Blood. That's on Clayton's list. So that was number.
That was like I said, the two performances are what caught my eye more than the movie itself.
Okay, no, I can see that. Okay, so that was number 5. Number 4 is a movie that Clay Dog had. It was No Country for Old Men.
2 similarities. No?
That's 2.
That should tell you something, that when we have 2 of the same movies, you should go out and watch them.
Yeah, you know, that movie, brilliant. You know,
our damn. Forget about it.
It's one of those movies where, like I said, I had the DVD, bought the Blu-ray, and then 2 years later I bought the book, read the book. There's we've talked about it. We can't say enough good things about that movie. So that's
all good things.
No Country for Old Men, gotta see it. Number 3 is it's the first one on my list that is the start of a trend. My favorite actor, my favorite director.
Leo.
It's called The Departed.
Yep, that was on your favorite list.
Yeah, that was on my favorite list. That was number 3 on my favorite list, and it's the 3rd on my best list, if that says anything.
Nice.
That's the most probably consistent movie on the list. I will always love The Departed.
Nice.
Like I said, most consistent. Always love it. You know, always will stay up on the top tier of my favorite movies. You know, just probably the best ensemble cast. And sometime, you know, we talked about how they didn't know how to award, I feel like, Matt Damon and Leo for that performance. So they gave the nomination for DiCaprio for Blood Diamond because they didn't want to step on Damon's shoes and be like, hey, sorry, dude, you were good, but not as good as DiCaprio in The Departed. So I think they just said, sorry, Damon, we're just going with a completely different movie with Blood Diamond.
Yeah.
Who was the leading actor, Damon or DiCaprio?
I guess
it's really
a cut between them both.
It's really a toss-up. You could say that the story kind of Jack Nicholson anchors the story, but it is either DiCaprio or Damon.
That's who I would pick. Is Jack Nicholson.
Okay,
as the lead.
I would probably say I'd probably say Damon, honestly, and that he didn't even do the best performance, but the fact that he's in it more.
That I could
You know.
arguable. That's arguable. I could see that. I could see that as well.
Now, number 2 is it's the weirdest one. It's the one that might seem too movie snobbish, and it's a foreign movie. It's called The Diving Bell and the Butterfly, and that is a French movie about he's like a magazine editor named Jean-Claude Dominique Bobby, and he ends up getting a seizure to where he can only move, I think it's one of his eyes, obviously it's either his right or his left eye, and he ends up being in a nursing home for the rest of his life. But because he refused to die and quit and just give in to his illness, because he was like that for the rest of his life, he writes a book, blink by blink by blink. Like, I'll give you an example. Anytime that he had to say a sentence, the nurse would say the most popular alphabet letter. And he'd say 1 blink is yes, 2 blink is no, and like 3 is, to send or, to recite. And it's just the connection that he gets with the nurses that care for him the rest of his life, and the connection that he will never be the same. He can't even talk. He can never, ever be a human in a way again.
Yeah.
Because it happened so suddenly. He was just driving his kids around. I think it was his son, and it just happened. I think it just shows, and best cinematography I've ever seen, because you literally see part of the movie through his eyelid, and you see the camera blink with a 1 for a yes, 2 for a no, and you see the nurse getting in the face and saying the alphabet. It really is almost like a first-person movie. So best cinematography I've ever seen in a movie by far, and it just shows you how quick you can lose something and how devastating that one thing can be, because he had it all, man. He had fame, he had women, wealth, and just over a matter of 10 minutes his life changed forever. Great movie if you can tolerate the subtitles. That didn't bother me because I can appreciate, I love a good story. So that's number 2. Number 1.
Star Wars.
We all know what this one is. It's Goodfellas. Like we said the other day, if I had to be stranded on an island and with one movie, it would be Goodfellas. That's just, like we said, vintage Scorsese. The best of Scorsese, the best of De Niro, the best of Ray Liotta, the best of Pesci, all in a matter of 2 hours and 30 minutes. And what I liked about your pick with The Godfather is I kind of see The Godfather, tell me if you can see this, The Godfather and Goodfellas kind of sort of relating to each other. Because Goodfellas, they're the dirty scoundrels. They are the people who would do the hit.
Yeah.
Whereas Don, Marlon Brando would give out the orders. Yeah. So I kind of like that gritty, dirty, this is no tuxedo, wedding. This is scary motherfuckers that will kill you in an instant. And that's just an aspect that doesn't get talked about so much in the mafia movies. Everyone tries to glamorize it with, the extravagant weddings, the tuxedos. No, not in Goodfellas. Not in Goodfellas. So, yeah, those are my top 10 best. And I'll quickly go over them again, just so you guys can get an understanding. Number 10, Mystic River. Number 9, Pulp Fiction. Number 8, Black Swan. Number 7, Capote. Number 6, Saving Private Ryan. Number 5, The Master. Number 4, No Country for Old Men. Number 3, The Departed. Number 2, The Diving Bell and the Butterfly. And of course, number 1, Goodfellas.
I like that you threw in that French movie because you would really have to appreciate just movies as a whole to be able to tolerate reading the subtitles the whole time, and
it was one of those movies
for it to be such a serious movie, I think.
Yeah, and it's one of those movies where I recommended it to a buddy, and he turned around and he actually bought the book that he ended up writing because it's such a good. That could be, like I said, on a critic's scoreboard. That could be the best movie on my list.
I liked how this time, I know Clay Dogs was a little bit more sporadic last time and this time, but I feel like both of yours was kind of. I expected more of the same.
What do you think?
I expected more of the same movies. Like you guys had what, 3 or 4 similarities on your first, on your favorites list.
Yeah.
But this time you had 2, and I was really expecting both of your best movies to have maybe 3 or 4 of the same ones.
Well, like I said, you gotta look into it as not. There's no sentimental value to as much sentimental value as these movies. These are the critics in us. These are the movies that just you either like them,
whether
or
it's performances, camera angles,
acting,
directing, acting, just composition, whatever is thrown into it, all that goes into a movie that we respect and recommend mostly is what is the reason for this list.
Yeah, absolutely. So any comment? What about you? What are some of the best movies you've seen,
Nick?
I would throw in, I'd throw in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, sure. Could
you see that?
Yeah, I think, like I said, like we talked about, I think that's the second most important movie to have really shown special effects. Star Wars Episode 4 and then Jurassic Park. That's a good one. That was a good one.
That was a good pick. Jurassic Park.
It's
a classic.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's a classic. Yeah, it's definitely a classic. I'm curious as to which of these movies have both of you seen on your list. Which have you seen the most? Clay Dog, what have you seen the most on your list?
On my list, the movie I've seen the most is probably... I'm probably going to say it's a tie between The Dark Knight and No Country for Old Men.
Which one would you say you've seen these movies dozens of times, or
in the double digits?
Okay, well, first,
what would be yours, Jonathan? What on your list if you could pick a number one or tie?
Well, since we're going by my list, I can't say The Lion King.
Shit.
Yeah, but it's got to be The Departed. Like I said, I've seen that movie probably 15, 16, maybe even 20 times just in high school. Me and my buddies would quote it on the school bus. We would talk about it after school. That's why it's also on my favorite, because it has, most impact.
Okay.
But the reason why it's not number one, obviously, is because it's just not as good. Not as good of a movie. So, but yeah, it's probably The Departed. And then maybe Saving Private Ryan. I've seen that movie several times. I have it on Blu-ray.
I almost feel like that I've never actually seen The Departed, but I feel like through you two that I know everything that this movie is about. Yeah. I've heard these two guys talk about The Departed for quite some time. I can almost picture these scenes.
Yeah, which, like I said, we both love Scorsese. He's my number one. He's probably Clayton's number 2 next to Tarantino, So, of course.
But your first on your list was a Tarantino movie, right, Clayton?
Yep.
Yeah. And don't forget Pulp Fiction was number 9 on my list. I'm not hating him. I love Tarantino. It's just,
You can see how much it varies, though, the different standpoints, because you both know your movies.
I feel yours is more of a respect for Tarantino.
Okay.
Than in maybe an actual...
No, you're more of a fan. You're more of a fan.
I'm more of a fan. You're more of a...
Just what he's done for the business.
Yeah.
That's like what I feel like what you did with Spielberg, man, with Saving Private Ryan. You have to give a shout out to him. He's, like I said, he's the king of Hollywood. Spielberg is. He might not be the best, but
he owns it.
If he wants to, he can make an Academy Award winning movie, or make a big, blockbuster. It's just, it's hard to not deny their cultural impact, and they're still relevant. They both have a movie out coming. They both have movies out coming very soon.
Another one. I just want to see if you guys would agree with this too. Because I'm very curious. Yeah. And I'm going to throw another animated movie out there. Okay. Toy Story. Toy Story, the first one.
Oh, no. That's actually the first movie I remember going to see in theaters, honestly.
The Lion King actually was the first movie I saw in theaters.
Yeah. I'm sure I have. I just don't really remember. But yeah, Toy Story's great. The third one's good, second one's good. They're all good.
Yeah, they're all pretty good.
Here's the thing, though, is that's Pixar. That's a different monster than Disney.
True. huge Pixar
I gotta
fan.
say-
Because Toy Story 3 is actually the highest grossing animated film of all time.
You know, I gotta say, I'm kind of...
That's a fact.
So, but Clayton, going back to your list, there's a lot of movies that I was just completely just thrown off. And
Yeah.
Like The Godfather, you know, that's awesome that we both think highly of Saving Private Ryan. That's, you know, of course, like The Wizard of Oz is good. I was kind of shocked to see that was on your... Yes.
That's the one that I am least surprised about. I figured one of you would have definitely had
It's-
The Wizard of Oz because it's first color movie.
Well, here's the thing. It's one of the most important movies. It's on my top 10 or top 5 most important movies ever made, but that's for a different podcast. So I was just kind of shocked to see it. It's been a
I think
while.
it's mainly on its legendary status.
Yeah. Which, you know, that's awesome that you have The Dark Knight. I don't have a Nolan movie on mine, and I think he's my second favorite director. So
One more I'm going to throw out there out of curiosity. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
no, that's good. That's a good movie.
That's an important movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's a classic. Obviously.
It's one of those where it's a kids movie, but it has kind of dark undertones to it.
It does.
It's kind of creepy. You know, that movie though has more sentimental value. Like I remember going to my nana's house and watching it. You know, that'd be more on my favorite list than the best. But hey, so do you have any surprises? Were you shocked by any on my list, Clayton? Or pleasantly surprised or disappointed?
I think I would have been shocked by the foreign movie
Yeah?
if you hadn't have talked about it a few times before.
Well, of course, I gush about it. If it's one of the best movies,
Yeah.
I gush about it. I'm sorry.
But with it being a foreign movie, I think that probably would have been shocking. So that's probably shocking to, you know, people listening.
Well, you know, I had Pan's Labyrinth on my favorites. That's a foreign movie, you know.
Is that the Spanish
I
movie?
Yeah,
know you've
that's-
talked about it before, but Black Swan is a surprise that you put it
Yeah?
on your top 10.
I'm very surprised by that being on Jonathan's
no
list
way.
as well.
Like I said, it's not about ballet. It's about obsession. And you know, someone who has an unhealthy, does something so well, they just want to be better. To the point where they just obsess about it. They lose sleep. They lose weight. They do what they can with broken and damaged limbs.
A lot of the movies on your list, Jonathan, are very real.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Yours is more. You had, like I said, more important movies like Jaws and the Godfather. I feel like mine was more contemporary.
Wizard of Oz.
In The Wizard of Oz. Mine, I felt like was more contemporary. After all, I only had 3 movies that were from the '90s: Goodfellas, Saving Private Ryan, and Pulp Fiction. You know.
See, I just think the main reason my Wizard of Oz, like I said, Wizard of Oz is on my list. Like I said, because it's mainly because of its legendary status, because it's 70 years old.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's the first movie to go in color. And 2, I just think that's probably one of the top movies that you have to see.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, it's
I mean, the cinematography in that movie
yeah.
is crazy.
Now, can I be honest with you? I'm kind of shocked that you didn't have Mystic River on your list. That's
Yeah, I just not in the top 10.
not in the top 10.
It's a good movie.
Where would you put it? What if we were doing top 15? Would it be in top 15? You think? Or no? You can be honest.
Yep.
It's just you know how many times we talk about it.
I know, but
So
I
it
don't
kind of give it away for me.
I don't
Mercy
know if
Street.
I don't know if it would be in top 15.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
It's crazy.
It's hating now. I see.
See, I think what I did yesterday, I would like to add because I looked at my collection of movies yesterday and I seen it, and I think you're maybe not too fond on it, but one that that would be probably maybe 12 or 13 on my favorite list is The Deer Hunter.
It's okay. You're right. It's not a movie that I'm just crazy about. I can't. You know, Christopher Walken is such a parody of himself. I can't take him serious. I do like John Cazale though.
Yeah.
You know.
But I just think that Christopher Walken is. I mean, obviously it's his best performance
Obviously.
because
No, Joe Dirt is. Joe Dirt's his best performance.
because I mean that's just like the kind of the epitome of someone that goes to war and becomes a prisoner and just completely loses his mind.
Yeah, it just becomes a product of their own environment,
Yeah.
you know. But can I say a movie that I'm surprised did not make any of your lists?
What?
And it's more recent, and it's one of the more heated debates that we've had, is the Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that was not on
That is.
your list, because you, not ramble, but you gush about how good that movie is.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when I said that's one of our...
Major shout out to Jared Leto's Oscar-winning performance.
Absolutely, and that's like I said, you loved it, I liked it. I didn't think it was the best movie.
I did.
No, I know.
And I get to go home and watch it because Clay Dog was nice enough to let me borrow his DVD copy of the Dallas Buyers Club.
But it is one that should be watched.
No, it's one of the top 12, 13 best movies of the year. I just was not head over heels about it.
It's one of those rare, maybe not rare, well, I guess maybe kind of rarities where, in my opinion, the lead is outshined by the support.
But that's all I'm gonna say real quick is because this is a different topic. You can't win an Oscar if you can't win Best Actor Oscar if the supporting actor outshines you. I'm sorry.
Which he does.
He does, yeah. So that's probably my biggest beef with the movie. But that's a different topic.
I think it's impressive that Matthew McConaughey went from being a cowboy to going to space. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Interstellar, absolutely.
He went from being a cowboy to a stockbroker. To being
Okay, I like that.
Come on, Nick.
Rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake. Oh, that's funny.
We're running out of time now, so this was our second podcast. I don't think this one's going to be as long as our first one, but we're going to try to keep our podcast around this time frame, around 45 minutes to an hour is what I'd like to say, and we'll try to keep this updated weekly. We've got some good topics coming up pretty soon. Coming up pretty soon we have superheroes. Even better topics. Superheroes is what I'm pretty excited for. I'm really going to be thrilled, as there's a certain billion-dollar franchise movie that is coming out in December that we are going to have to dedicate a whole podcast to, and that's Star Wars. Obviously, that's going to be a topic in and of itself that we may need 24 hours to do. Jonathan, Clayton, is there anything else you want to add before we end it this week?
No, it was a good list, Clayton. I liked it.
No, I think I'm good, and yeah, that was a very good list, Jonathan, and I want to thank everyone for listening.
Absolutely.
We really thank you guys for tuning in with us again, and we will have another podcast coming at you probably next week. So thanks again, guys. Remember to send me an email or comment, rate, subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like. Give me everything you want to know. I want to hear it. If you think these two are idiots, then just let me know, and we can email back and forth and laugh about them. So from CNJ Film Fellas, the CNJ Productions, we gonna sign off here. So
this is Clayton. See y'all later. Thanks again for listening.
Yeah, this is Jonathan. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Thanks, guys. All right, now don't kill me.